y'all. Claralot Angels podcast here. I'm Clara.
I'm Angeline.
I'm Lottie.
Today we're here with Angeline's design. It's Wolfsbane Trailer Park, y'all.
So wait till you get ready for this one, y'all.
Okay, so tell me.
This is in the Forgotten. Is it called Forgotten Hollow?
It is.
Forgotten Hollow.
Who
Yeah.
comes up to you? What sort of person comes up to you and says, "Hey, Angeline, we need you to design this, and here are our parameters that we need you to stay within. We want it gloomy, and we want it what happens?"
No, they were like brightening this space up because I'm living in a trailer park here, and it's always blue lit at the daylight.
Right.
It's so
Forgotten
strange.
Hollow, if y'all have ever been there.
It is.
Wow.
It always seems like it's about to rain, and this is full sunlight, y'all.
Plus, you always feel as if you're going to be bit by a mosquito.
You really do.
So true. And you likely are.
Or worse.
Or
Forgotten
worse.
Hollow.
Or worse.
A vampire. A werewolf.
You know.
So this was a gentleman who approached me and wanted me to revamp his grandparents' home within the Wolfsbane trailer park.
Were you in a budget?
I was not in a budget. Well, I was, but I was not in your traditional 20,000 budget.
Right, because you still
It
have
was like 40,000.
Right, so you're not going to be building houses for every which trailer that
No,
you got.
I wasn't
But-
building a mansion. You know what I mean?
Right, but you're adding details.
Well, this home right here is where a very quirky adventurer
Now,
lives.
tell me
Excuse
something here.
me.
Right?
What?
I know.
They wanted this.
They did.
First of all, that's the cutest thing I ever saw. At the same time as I'm a little taken
I'm a little
aback.
shook.
Well, it's very, prompt with their aesthetic of
Right?
like not taking themselves too seriously.
But how well does that go with those little yellow curtains in the trailer?
It does. And
What?
I feel weird saying it, but it
I'm
does.
shook up
You
to
know
my core.
what I mean?
There's a sunflower coming up out the toilet, y'all.
You know what I
When you
mean?
see something fit so perfectly, you're like, should I be having a toilet in my dining room? And they're like, no.
Absolutely
but
not.
I enjoy what you did there.
Right.
Thank you.
Oh, you got a little pool here.
Now here's a little play area for the children. There are
Oh.
2 children that live in this
Oh.
trailer park.
Okay, I'll see that.
But
Oh,
they
the pool
have
there is
friends.
so cute.
You know, Forgotten Hollow does not have a lot of places for children to play. There are not playgrounds here.
No.
So this will be a playground for the entire neighborhood, I'm sure.
Wow, I'm so surprised you found children there. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
I rarely do.
You know what I mean?
It's true, and it's important, even if they're vampire children, that they have a little playground to go play on.
You want them to be playful
Wow.
people.
Now, in the daytime in Forgotten Hollow, can a vampire child or vampire itself go out in the daytime because it's so dark?
They still don't like the sun.
No, they still don't
It's
like
still
it.
too broad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that odd?
Have you ever seen, daylight streaming through the trees? Because I haven't.
No. There are not really, harsh shadows in this town. It's very odd.
How weird.
It's so strange.
Could you imagine? I'll go crazy.
I know.
So what's this right here? This is like
Is like the grandparents' house.
the main house.
Yeah. And I'm like really confused because
Tell me why.
there just doesn't seem to be enough, going on in their lives that they want. I don't know. They invested in the entire park.
Well,
They're
it
like,
doesn't matter if it's their lives because when you have a park, it's like 3 other people's lives.
You know what I mean?
So you don't have to worry about that.
Exactly.
So I'm confused. They're grandparents of how many kids?
They have 1 grandchild.
Oh.
Just a single grandchild.
Do they have a room for their grandchild or it's like a couch to sleep
Well,
on?
I
There's a
say
couch
grandchild, but he's about our age. So
Okay.
he,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yes.
Oh.
Does he have children?
No, he works at the church. He was, the fill-in reverend for when the reverend was away on vacation. His name is Isaiah Berman, and he, I don't know if you remember him.
No, I do not.
Well, he's a little bit nondescript, but he came to me and said, "Can you fix up this home for my grandparents?"
Oh.
Oh, no.
So he loves his grandparents.
Loves them.
Wow, that's a good person.
I know. He's not married. He doesn't have a life of his own yet. You know what I mean? So I feel like he lives for other people. You know that talk.
I love setting people up.
You know what I mean?
I really do.
So we'll try and set him up with someone because he needs someone in his life.
Is he someone that's set upable though? Like,
I
let's be
think he
honest.
is. He really is.
A nice person.
I think he's the sort of person who always gets passed over.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because he'd be like, oh, you're in line? Why don't you go ahead of me? Like
What's his interest, you know? Did you pry?
He loves the Lord.
Well, okay, of course.
So he loves going to the church on the Sundays, you know.
Does he have a hobby?
His hobby is gardening.
Gardening.
Yeah.
Did you make a little garden for his grandparents? I see a lot of sunflowers popping
They have a beautiful yard, you know, in their front yard. I feel like it's real important for all these people to have their special spaces.
It's true. Look, that little bathtub back there still got me going like crazy. I'm like, what?
I'll revisit that space too, and you'll
you
see
do?
even
I'm
more
so
happens
excited.
there. Now,
Lanterns. Important because you know what?
in that place where it's always dark, you need to bring your own light.
You really do. It is so dark.
And now you're probably wondering, why do they live here? Well, guess what? Forgotten Hollow was not always a Forgotten Hollow. You know what I mean? The palm trees grew up so tall, they sort of like dimmed the sun.
Right in the mountain.
You know. So it's up in the mountains, but then it's like a little valley in the mountains.
Right.
Now, they're mountain folk, so they come from the mountains. And then when they moved to the valley, they were like, well, it's nice and warm here for our old age retirement.
Oh, and then all the trees grew up.
You know what I
And
mean?
then no one wants to cut down the trees because you shouldn't. You just shouldn't.
You just shouldn't.
I love the trees.
Move somewhere else if you want no trees. You know what I mean?
Right. So I see that their like aesthetic is, you know, I see the blues and I see the checkered prints. It's very, you know, mountain folk. Country.
Yeah, it really is. And I had
Love
the
that.
darndest time with the curtains.
Why?
Because they kept cutting into the bathtub space. You know what I mean?
Isn't that true? Curtains. So tricky.
You know what I mean? You gotta have everything way away from the window or the curtain's gonna cut on into it.
True. And you
They're
got
gonna-
shelving space. It's such a tiny space. You need to use every inch of it.
Well, when you live in a tiny house like this, you tend to become one of those people who's always hanging out in their front yard.
Yeah, why not?
You know?
You know.
Peeping on the neighbors and whatnot, which is very, you know, a happy lifestyle for a lot of elders.
Right. I agree.
I think my parents are peeping on their neighbors all the time.
Do you think so?
I do think so.
I could not imagine my mama peeking on neighbors. I could see her like looking and then be like, no.
No. I don't think they like look in the windows or anything.
No.
No.
Binoculars for days.
No.
Disguise.
We've all had those neighbors though.
Like Martha Sue got a package today.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
That's
could see that.
Like that sort
Very
of thing.
casual.
You know.
Or like going over and being like, Martha, dear, you haven't gotten your package off your porch and it's been here since 11.
Yeah, exactly.
wrong?
Or I see you haven't watered your flowers in 3 days. Is everything okay?
That is pretty personable, though.
You know what I mean?
Because then someone's checking on you.
They're
so,
careful about you.
depending on who you are as a person, you could be like, ugh. Because I didn't want to water them in 3 days. Or you could be like,
Touched.
thank you, I've had a cold and I just haven't had the energy.
Now, my mama has a bunch of friends who are exactly like the latter. Thank you, I've had a cold, I haven't had the energy. And then they all get together, have their tea, and talk about it.
And they're like, oh, she doesn't have the energy. Let's get over there and quickly
Oh.
give her a house of spruce.
Exactly. They
Tell
have
me.
a cat, by the way. So I made a little secret door for their cat's litter box.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my goodness.
You know,
You're kidding me senseless right now.
built on an addition to their little trailer.
And the cat's like clicking it with their
Yeah,
I'm
there's
like,
a little
let me
area
in.
for the cat to click. Now, have you ever heard of those
Yeah.
dogs that ring a
the
bell?
bell.
I was just gonna say it.
It's just like
And
that.
I can't imagine that a cat cannot do that.
Now, those bookcase doors open on a spring.
Oh.
Oh, by the way,
No.
it's Forgotten Hollow. So
Oh, by
there's
the
a
way.
big old cemetery up in here.
There's a graveyard, y'all.
Forgotten Hollow is basically like a
Oh my
cemetery.
goodness. Would you ever live by a cemetery?
I personally
You
wouldn't.
might.
I personally wouldn't want to because I wouldn't want sad people in my yard.
Well, if it was an old cemetery, though, that people weren't visiting.
That I wouldn't
I'd be
mind.
afraid.
I went to school by a cemetery. We had track around the cemetery.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know, we would go running around the cemetery. I would skip classes and hide behind a gravestone.
Oh,
Well, I
my
mean, that's
goodness.
comfortable, you know what I mean?
Well, it's comfortable to me.
But then, meanwhile, if you were hiding behind the gravestone and there was a fresh family there crying their eyes out,
No.
I think it depends
it's
on
different.
who or what's buried in the graveyard.
You would get a weathered, look, I had weathered gravestones. people that were not visited.
You know what I mean?
While. It only takes like 2. It's like a weird fact that it takes like 2 or 3 generations before a graveyard stone is just not visited anymore.
It's true.
You know.
You know why I think so? Because the people who were in that grave are already back living a new life.
Oh, you really?
I do think so.
I love that.
Oh, no.
You know, like what do you call that?
Reincarnation.
Right. I agree. I love that. I love what you did here too with these lots on. It really festives up the joint.
You know what I mean? Because it's a dark blue lit town and it needs a little bit of festivity.
Well, what you did here with this bright yellow vans.
This here was my favorite family to hang about with. They
Really?
were so
Cheerful?
happy. Always drunk though, y'all.
Oh, well, you
They
know
were.
what? Sometimes the best people.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes.
But
You know.
sometimes not.
Mm-hmm.
Depends.
Now they were happy drunks, so I had a good time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's so true. And you really added a lot of good luck flowers. And really, I'm surprised from what it started at.
You know what I mean?
So dark and gloomy.
It's like you can't stop here because it is gloomy as heck.
It's really, gone. It really got really bright.
Thank you. And I hope you enjoyed the pictures because let me tell you something. I really had a good time hanging out with all these people.
I can see that you did because I can see Angeline's touch here and there in every corner.
Yes, you became friends with every single one of those.
I did. They
people
were
in those
very
showers.
precise in this one. And then this one had like a little kid. And they didn't, they were ready to pick up and go.
I can see that.
Yeah. And then over here, the playground and the cemetery.
Right next to each other.
You know, life and
And
death.
Oh.
Well,
And there it is from up above.
you did
Beautiful.
so good, girl.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all for joining us.